Have you ever felt like a guy is pulling away, like he's avoiding you, and it just makes your heart race with doubt? Here's the thing, most of the time what you're seeing isn't avoidance, it's love, real, deep, quietly growing love. And you'll know it if you pay attention to a few very specific things. First, he makes time for you. Not just when it's easy or convenient, but even when life is messy, stressful, or crowded with obligations. He finds a way to see you, to check in, to send that message that says, I'm thinking about you. That's not casual interest. That's someone making you a priority, quietly proving that you matter. Then there's the way he listens, and I don't mean he nods while scrolling on his phone. I mean he really listens. He remembers your favorite song, the little joke that made you laugh, the story you told 2 weeks ago. He notices the things that others might forget. That attention to detail, that's love leaving fingerprints all over your life, little clues that he's fully invested. And the third thing is vulnerability. He lets you see the real him, the side he doesn't show anyone else. He shares his fears, his insecurities, even his dreams that feel too big or too fragile to speak aloud. And the reason he does it is simple. He trusts you. He wants you in his world, and he's not afraid to be seen as imperfect because he knows you'll accept him anyway. So if you're feeling confused, if you're wondering if he's pulling away, take a step back and look at these moments. They aren't avoidance, they're love, showing up quietly but powerfully in the small gestures, the little details, and the moments of openness that tell you, without a single word, that he's falling for you and falling hard. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to vanish when life gets busy? They're fine when everything is easy, when there's no stress, no deadlines, no pressure, but the moment things get hectic, they disappear. They don't call, they don't reply, they don't show up. And it can leave you feeling invisible, questioning whether you even matter to them. But here's the truth. The way a man makes time for you, even when he's busy, tells you far more than words ever could. Making time isn't about convenience. It's easy to show up when it's effortless, when there's nothing else demanding your attention. What really counts is what happens when life is messy. When work is overwhelming, when friends are needy, when obligations pile up. If he still finds a way to check in, to carve out moments for you, to make you feel like you're a priority, that's not casual interest. That's someone showing with their actions that you matter. And it's important to recognize that effort because it's one of the clearest signs of genuine love. Think about it for a moment. Everyone is busy. Everyone has responsibilities, deadlines, and commitments. But love isn't about perfect timing. It's about effort. A man who truly cares isn't sitting around waiting for the perfect moment to reach out. He sends the text, even if it's just a short one. He makes a plan, even if it's a brief coffee or a late night call. He shows up in the cracks of life because he wants to be there. That's a huge difference between someone who likes you and someone who's invested in you. And it's not about grand gestures or over-the-top displays. You don't need flowers delivered every day or constant declarations. Real effort is in the small, consistent moments. It's sending a message in the middle of a busy day just to let you know he's thinking of you. It's remembering that you have a meeting or an event and asking how it went. It's putting aside a few minutes, even when he's tired, to listen and engage with you. That's the kind of attention that builds a foundation quietly but powerfully, showing that you're not just another option, you're a priority. What's beautiful about this is that it's also revealing. If a man consistently disappears when things get hard, that's not love, it's avoidance. But if he's making time, even in the smallest ways, that shows his heart is in it. He's choosing you again and again, despite the chaos of life. And that's not something to take lightly because it's rare. Effort like that doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't come from obligation or convenience. It comes from genuine care and investment. And that's a hallmark of love. So next time you find yourself doubting him, questioning whether he cares, look at how he navigates the busy parts of life. Does he reach out when it would be easier not to? Does he make time for you when he has 1,000 other things to do? That's the real measure. The small moments, the stolen minutes, the intentional gestures, they're proof that he's not just present when it's easy, but committed when it counts. And that's a love worth noticing, worth trusting, and worth holding on to. Because in the end, love isn't about avoiding responsibility or waiting for perfect circumstances. It's about showing up, even when it's hard, even when life is chaotic. And a man who makes time for you when he's busy isn't just making an effort. He's telling you, without saying a word, that you are a priority in his life. And that, more than anything, is love in action. Have you ever been talking to someone, sharing a story or a small detail from your life, and realized later that they actually remembered it? Not just remembered it in passing, but brought it up, noticed it, or acted on it in a way that made you feel seen? That's a rare thing, and when a man listens to you and remembers the little things, it's one of the clearest signs that he's in love with you. Because here's the truth. Anyone can nod along, anyone can seem interested in the moment, but remembering the small details, that takes intention, that takes care, that takes real investment. It's easy to overlook the little things, especially in today's world where everyone is distracted and rushing from one obligation to the next. But someone who truly cares doesn't just hear you, they listen. He notices your mood, the way your face lights up when you talk about something you love, the tiny frustrations that you might brush off. He picks up on the patterns, the preferences, the subtle details that make you, you, and then, even more importantly, he acts on them. He remembers that you like your coffee a certain way. He recalls a story you told about your childhood. He knows which song makes you laugh uncontrollably. Those details might seem small on the surface, but they're not. They're proof that he's paying attention, proof that he values you as more than just someone to pass time with. Remembering the little things isn't about perfection or memorizing everything you say. It's about showing that your words matter to him. When a man recalls details from previous conversations, it tells you he's engaged, that your life matters to him. He's building a mental map of who you are, and that map guides how he interacts with you. It shows thoughtfulness, consideration, and emotional intelligence, all key elements of someone who is in love. What's even more powerful is how these small acts of listening and remembering create connection. When he asks about that project you mentioned last week, or brings up that movie you love but haven't seen in months, it's not just casual conversation. It's proof that he's holding space for you in his mind, even when you're not physically together. That kind of attention is intimate because it communicates that he cares about your life, your feelings, and your happiness. It's love expressed quietly, thoughtfully, and consistently. It also reveals a lot about his priorities, because anyone can talk, anyone can flirt, anyone can pretend to care in the moment, but remembering the little things requires effort. It requires him to pay attention, to retain, and to act on details that might otherwise go unnoticed. That effort is a reflection of his feelings. It's his way of showing that you're not just another person in his life. You're someone he wants to know deeply, someone he wants to understand, someone he wants to connect with on a meaningful level. So, if you ever find yourself wondering whether a man is truly interested, pay attention to this. Does he remember what you said weeks ago? Does he notice when something about you changes, even slightly? Does he act in ways that show he's been listening, not just hearing? Because these little things are more than gestures. They're evidence of emotional investment. They show that he's thinking about you, valuing you, and intentionally making space for you in his life. In the end, love isn't always about grand declarations or dramatic moments. Often it's in the quiet, consistent ways someone tunes into your world and remembers the little things that matter to you. A man who does this isn't just interested, he's in love, and recognizing it, appreciating it, and holding on to it is recognizing a rare and beautiful kind of connection that many people spend their whole lives searching for. Have you ever noticed how some men keep everything behind a wall? They joke, they flirt, they engage on the surface, but the deeper you try to reach, the more the wall seems to rise. They talk about everything except their feelings, their fears, their dreams, or anything that makes them feel exposed. That's the easy route. It protects them, keeps them safe, and avoids the risk of rejection. But a man who is truly in love, he doesn't just tear down the wall a little, he opens the door, he lets you in. He shows vulnerability, and that is one of the clearest signs that he trusts you and that he cares deeply. Vulnerability isn't about weakness. Far from it. It's about courage. It's about taking a risk and allowing someone to see the parts of you that are messy, imperfect, or complicated. A man who shows vulnerability doesn't have to. It's not convenient. It's not effortless. But he chooses to because he trusts you. He shares the fears he usually keeps to himself, the insecurities he masks with humor, the dreams that feel too big or fragile to voice aloud. He allows you to see the real him, unfiltered, knowing that doing so will make him feel exposed. That choice is love in its rawest, most genuine form. What's remarkable about vulnerability is how it creates connection. When a man opens up to you, it isn't just about his feelings. It's about inviting you into his inner world. It's a signal that he wants you there, not just on the surface, but in the spaces most people never get to see. And when he shares these intimate parts of himself, he's not just asking you to listen, he's showing that he trusts you with his emotional safety. That's huge. Trust is the foundation of love, and vulnerability is its expression. Without it, relationships can feel shallow, transactional, or surface level. With it, they feel deep, real, and irreplaceable. Vulnerability also reveals priorities and intentions. A man who is willing to be vulnerable isn't doing it casually or strategically. He's not trying to impress you or manipulate your feelings. He's sharing because he values your presence in his life and believes that you are someone who deserves to know him fully. When he talks about his struggles, his regrets, or even his failures, he's showing that he wants you to understand him, not just the parts that are easy to love, but the parts that require patience, compassion, and care. That's not something everyone can offer. And it's a powerful indicator of genuine love. The beauty of this is how it transforms the relationship. When he is vulnerable, it gives you permission to be vulnerable as well. It opens the door for honest conversations, deeper connection, and emotional intimacy that goes far beyond attraction or infatuation. Love isn't just about passion or excitement. It's about feeling safe with someone, knowing that you can be yourself without fear of judgment. A man who shows vulnerability is offering you exactly that, the chance to be fully known, fully accepted, and fully connected. So, if you're ever questioning a man's feelings, pay attention to this. Does he let you see the side of him he usually keeps hidden? Does he share his fears, hopes, and uncertainties with you? Does he trust you with the parts of himself that feel fragile or uncomfortable? Because when he does, he's not just opening up. He's showing that you matter, that he values your presence, and that he's willing to take the risk of loving you deeply. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate proof of trust, commitment, and love in action. In the end, a man who allows himself to be vulnerable with you is telling you something very simple, yet incredibly powerful. He sees you as more than someone to pass time with. He sees you as someone worth showing his heart to, someone worth loving fully and authentically. And that is one of the most beautiful gifts anyone can offer. So, when you're wondering whether a man is truly in love, don't just listen to what he says, watch what he does. Notice if he makes time for you, even when life is hectic. If he listens and remembers the little details that make you who you are. And if he allows himself to be vulnerable, sharing the parts of him that few others ever see. These aren't small gestures or coincidences. They're the unmistakable